Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining MTT's webinar today on the changing mobile travel landscape and key trends in 2016. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat box in the webinar console and we will answer them at the end of the webinar. The webinar will be available to view on demand if you wish to share it with any colleagues. Many thanks for joining me. I wanted to start with this quote because I think it perfectly sums up what we're going to be talking about today. The pace of change in mobile travel is ferocious. In fact, there are 2,371 new mobile apps published each and every day. And with this incredible speed of change, the opportunities in mobile travel are bigger than ever before. But travel companies and airlines must keep pace, or you're going to be left behind, because as we'll see throughout this webinar, the end traveller is already there. In fact, they're demanding the next evolution already. Okay, before we start, a quick introduction. I'm Glenville, and my background is product management and digital marketing, both across mobile and web at places like H&B, Waterstones and EasyJet. And as it says there, I used to be the product owner for EasyJet Mobile, working on the apps both for iOS and Android, as well as their mobile website. I now work for MTT, or Mobile Travel Technologies, as you may know us, as one of their consultants, and it's my job to help existing and new customers with their mobile strategy, mobile marketing and analytics. Intro over, this is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to start off with a really brief overview of who MTT are. Then we'll quickly look at just how fast mobile is moving, especially in the world of travel. Next, we'll look at the needs of the increasingly sophisticated and demanded connected traveller of this year. Then I'll talk about why it's now time to reclaim your passengers. And finally, we'll examine the biggest trends in travel apps over the past 12 months, followed by a look at what I think is going to trend for next year and beyond. So who are MTT? MTT designs and develops world-class mobile apps for airlines, TMCs and travel companies. We only do mobile and we only do travel. We now have the largest group of mobile travel experts globally, in fact more than 170 people. We're headquartered in Dublin and our neighbours include Google, Facebook and Airbnb. We also have an office in London and remote resources in Manila and Bangkok. Over the years, MTT and our customers have been awarded a series of industry accolades seen here at the bottom of the slide. Over just the past month, our customers have won awards such as the UX UK Award and also the Future Travel Experience Award for Best Passenger Experience Initiative for its implementation of our Day of Travel product, MTT Concierge Live. Also earlier this year, MTT was featured in Gartner's Cool Vendors report in their 2015 report. Most recently, just a few months ago in July, MTT was acquired by Travelport, who are the leading travel commerce platform provider. Travelport is one of the largest travel technology companies in the world and was recently listed on the New York Stock Exchange. MTT-powered apps and mobile sites are used by millions of travellers every week worldwide. And these are just a few of our customers. Saudia, who are the flag carrier of Saudi Arabia, we developed their first ever app. Singapore, we recently launched brand new apps for this world-class airline. EasyJet, we make the multi-award-winning apps, both iOS and Android, for one of the biggest airlines in Europe. And we also develop apps for LAN and TAM, who are now, of course, LATAM, the largest airline group in South America. We also work with a number of TMCs, including BCD. Again, we developed their first ever apps, and BCD are the third largest TMC in the world. And then finally, Capita, one of the UK's leading TMCs, and we released their apps just a few months ago. Okay, now I want to talk to you about a revolution. The travel industry has been disrupted once in the past 20 years by the rise of online. But it's the advent of the mobile channel that represents the biggest and most disruptive event of this travel industry in its history. We are now in the middle of a mobile revolution.
Welcome to Johannesburg International Airport. Please approach the road to create your pickup zone.
So why did I play that video? This is a video from Microsoft called The Future of Productivity. It was made in 2012, just a few years ago, to show a future actually 5 to 10 years away. So what did we actually see there? Glasses that automatically translate a foreign language in real time, full itinerary management, mobile hotel check-in, a digital room key, indoor maps and directions, and also gesture control. Does any of that kind of sound familiar? Yet, it's not a vision of 2022. This has all happened in just the last few years since this video was made, and this is out there right now in the hands of your travellers. Just look at this timeline from the past 10 years. This revolution has even seen a dramatic shift in what a mobile device actually is. Mobiles evolved from the basic smart functionality of devices like the Nokia N80 all the way through to the uber sophisticated iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, and also every possible platform that you can think of in between. We now live in a multi-screen world which is becoming increasingly fragmented with multiple devices. So thinking about mobile alone is now actually tunnel vision. And then what does this revolution look like in numbers? In 2015 alone, there were 1.4 billion smartphones sold, 233 million tablets. And that wearables number there is particularly interesting when you take into account that in 2013, only 73 million iPads were sold globally. And this revolution is happening across every single vertical in travel. Look at airlines. In 2008, British Airways were the first airline in the world to launch on this new platform called the App Store. But they launched no more than an information app, online timetables, arrivals and departures, and a link to their full site. Then in 2010, you had airlines like United bringing in more rich functionality like booking, check-in, and flight status. 2012 brought an explosion of mobile boarding passes with the launch of Passbook. And now, just in this year, you have the fully fledged digital assistant that is the EasyJet app, which knows where you are in the airport, where your gate is, what belt your luggage is arriving at, and also shows you how to get there with an indoor map. And itinerary management is the same. TripIt in 2008 was just a list of activities. Then Tripcase launched timeline views in 2010, making early moves into the world of what's next in my journey, which I'll talk more about later on. BCD is taking this trend another step forward with its award-winning Cards UX, managing each part of your trip and everything that surrounds it. Maps, notifications, recommendations, these are all now in the hands of their travellers. The travel management apps are now moving beyond home screens. Coming up soon, or what's next, is now the first thing you see. It's all about context and time. And the same can be said for OTAs too. Look at Kayak, who were one of the first movers in mobile in 2009. But as you can see here, the functionality was basic. You had flight trends, flight and hotel bookings, but the UX was really static. In 2012, lastminute.com was one of the first companies to introduce credit card scanning. And then in 2005, you've got people like Hotel Tonight, which is not strictly an OTA, but it is making moves in this space. They launched Hotel Aces, which is an in-app chat feature connecting users with a real personal travel concierge. Like EasyJet in the previous slide, the Hotel Tonight app is transforming itself into a digital assistant. But don't forget, we've come a long way in such a short space of time. This is just 7 years' worth of apps. But as well as the hardware and apps, mobile itself is moving faster than ever too. Just look at what's happened over the past 6 months. And if you thought the last 6 months were busy, the next 6 months looks even bigger. These are all huge moments in mobile. It's a constantly changing landscape out there, especially in travel. As we saw there, mobile is moving faster than ever. And this evolution, this speed of change, has bred a new kind of traveller. Always connected actually seems like a cliche now, but what does this always connected traveller look like? And what are their needs in this kind of ever-shifting mobile landscape? As I said at the start of this webinar, we are living in a multi-screen world. Today's travellers are more connected than ever. In fact, 88% of them describe smartphones as a must when they travel. Travellers are also using multiple devices when they travel. 1 out of 5 passengers, and I'd count myself as one of them, is carrying at least 3. And mobile is what they want to use. According to a recent CETA survey, which monitored travellers' emotions as they travel, travellers, up to about 94% of them, are happiest and most excited when using technology, particularly when they're using their own devices and availing of self-service options. But the always connected traveller is demanding too. The new mobile travel experience can't be the blanket experience of old. personalisation is crucial. As it says there, 84% of travellers said they expect personalised information, but they want real-time information and messaging as they travel too. They expect more than the static pre-departure travel information that was traditionally provided by mobile just a few years ago. The context is key. As I said, it can't just be the blanket approach of old. They expect any communication to take into account context, location, what part of the travel life cycle they're in, but above all, it has to be relevant. And functionality that rarely existed a few years ago in mobile is no longer demanded, but just expected by today's connected traveller. Mobile check-in and boarding is set to double by next year. In fact, by 2019, 1.4 billion boarding passes will be mobile. And that rate of adoption is staggering when you consider that mobile boarding passes only really entered the mainstream in 2007. Mobile payments too, with the rapid rise of things like Apple Pay and Android Pay, NFC and Touch ID, we've seen an accelerated shift in the way travellers want to pay. But finally, you need to be wary of this speed of change. You shouldn't rush into these new technologies without thinking about the user experience. But there is a battle for control of these always connected travellers, so let's talk about that next. But where is this battle happening? The answer is everywhere. There are now more touch points with your passengers than ever before, and you need to be there at each and every one. And it's not just about the booking and check-in process anymore. The travel life cycle is a long tail, from searching for flights and booking, to the airport experience, landside and airside, to flight connections, and also what to do at the destination airport. This cycle is full of holes, though, where the passenger can actually feel left and alone. So over the last decade, new players have entered the travel market trying to fill these gaps. And even in our own research, we're seeing these new players. These results are from a recent poll MTT conducted at a conference where we asked, what type of app do you use most when you travel? Airline apps, as you can see, came out top, of course. But look at Google. Look at itinerary management apps. I talked about gaps in the cycle a moment ago. Well, these are the people filling them. So let's talk about Google first, as that seems to be where your travellers are turning to. But we'll start with a statistic. Out of the kind of 30 plus Google Now cards that are available, over 10 are directly related to travel. If you just think back to a year ago, you only really had boarding passes and flight status as cards. Now you've got Leave for the Airport Now push notifications, weather, currency, flight status, photo spots nearby, and just a few months ago, full itinerary management went live, handling both your flights, hotels and cars. And wherever Google is, Apple isn't far away, of course. Slide over and split view on the iPad is going to have a massive effect on the dream stage of booking. So imagine comparing prices from an app and a search engine within one screen. Things like flight status, as you can see here. Just select a flight number and a confirmation email, and you get this amazing flight status card, all updating in real time. And Spotlight search is more contextually aware than ever before. Reminders, suggested apps, restaurants, parking, bars nearby, these are all part of Proactive. And don't forget that all this functionality is available from Google without going anywhere near your brand. After Google, we saw these next. Itinerary management apps. These are what your travellers are also turning to. And they are filling the biggest gap of all, which is My Trip. There are 3 big hitters in this area, but new itinerary management apps are popping up every single week. And finally, there is a wolf in sheep's clothing too, which is the airports themselves. The last few years have seen a rise and rise of what I'd call the intelligent airport app. Now, airport apps offer a select group of features, but at a critical point in the travel life cycle. And this day of travel experience is where airport apps are beginning to try and own your traveller. So in summary, for owning the passenger, there are now more touch points with your travellers than ever before. But new players are entering the market every day, and they are hungry and ready to fill any gaps. Now is the opportunity to regain control of your traveller by guiding at each and every step of their journey, but you must move quickly. Now let's talk about the moving travel landscape of 2015 and what's worked. There have been some key movements in the past 12 months, and these are the innovations that have driven mobile travel forward this year. First up, we'll talk about removing friction, which is this year's biggest trend, I'd say. This is all about the end of mobile field filling. It's about reducing drop-off points, keeping users in the flows, and about removing steps for your user. If you look at cross-device searches with people like Expedia with Scratchpad, and loads of airlines are saving searches across site and mobile. Abandoned baskets, again, only a few airlines are doing this outside of web, but this will surely be the biggest movement in mobile remarketing next year. Passport and credit card scanning, I'd say it's this year's passbook because it's the biggest bit of functionality that everyone is now doing. And in Save Profiles, there's been a huge push by the big players to add multi-packs, whether that be family, friends or colleagues, to your profile to pull those details in. This is all about not making me look for my frequent flyer number each time, or my visa details, or my family, just save them all inside the app. There's a great example from an MTT customer here, Saudia. Our app pre-populates information for all family groups, making it easier for family or group bookings, which are really common in the Middle East. Next is third-party integration. This is all about the new world of content. 2015 has seen some great examples from airlines, hotels and travel companies integrating the wealth of open APIs that are out there. This is not about spending hours of dev time building content. This is all about using what others are already doing and doing better than you ever could. Another example of that here is our Capita app, which includes full integration of rail APIs, including bookings, timetables, real-time service alerts such as delays, and also platform information. Number 3 is real-time communication. 2 great examples here from our customers BCD and Capita, highlighting truly targeted and personalised messaging. This is what the modern traveller wants. They don't want the multiple push notification trend of old. They want the right message at the right time with the right offer or piece of information. This is all about the new age of traveller control. Number 4 is context and location. Out of all the movements this year, this is the one that's pushed mobile travel apps into a new realm of functionality. It's no longer about the standard sidebar navigation or the block button book flights menu. As it says there, the app home screen is dead. What's next, or what's next part of my journey, is now the home screen. On screen, you can see a screenshot of our MTT Concierge Live product, which is an intelligent mobile travel assistant for both airlines and travel companies. And this is a perfect example of this movement. We are working on this with a number of our customers. Number 5, but the number 1 movement by miles, is wearables. What's most interesting about something like wearables, especially the Apple Watch, is when Passbook launched with iOS 6 3 years ago, only 2 airlines were ready for launch day. For the Apple Watch launch in April, there were 15 airlines ready for day 1, which just goes to show the power of this new platform. And if you look at the App Store itself, travel makes up about 3% of the apps in the App Store. In the Apple Watch Store in month 1, travel made up 15% of the apps. To end, let's talk about some of the new opportunities that will shape mobile travel next year. Mobile payments. Every year, you've probably heard the saying that this is the year of mobile. Well, that has passed. What we should now be talking about is how 2016 will be the year of mobile payments. It's going to happen. It's just a case of who's going to be the main player. And again, thinking back to what we just talked about removing friction, this will be the biggest friction remover next year by far. It will dominate 2016 as mobile payment adoption takes hold. In fact, I'd say in 2016, the most successful merchants will enable their customers to pay the way they want to pay rather than make that choice for them. Convergence. As I said at the start of this presentation, thinking about mobile alone is tunnel vision. You should now think about your brand across multiple platforms. Travellers are moving from one device to the next. They might research on mobile but book on desktop, or manage their itinerary on tablet. It's still a huge gap in the market, but some are pushing things forward. And one such brand is Singapore Airlines. And here you can see a really good example of their multi-platform strategy. The next one is the destination opportunity. If you can think back to 2010 and 2011 when the iPad came out and the app started to come out, everyone was looking at destination inspiration as just a tablet feature. But destination guides are now the biggest movement in mobile apps. There are a number of airlines and travel brands that have recently launched stunning destination guides in their mobile solutions. And more travel apps are teaming up with destination guide specialists and pulling in their content. And finally, autonomy. I'd say this is the biggest opportunity of them all. Today's travellers want to be able to book. They want to be able to manage their itinerary. They want to be able to self-serve. And if that desire is not supported, passengers are going to kick back and bypass solutions that do not support it. Just look at Delta, one of the most successful airline apps in the world. They allow full service rebooking via mobile, whether that be simple flight changes or full IROP situations. They support complete reaccommodation, and they have no contact with a call centre or a desk. MTT are actively working with a number of our customers around rebooking and disruption handling, as this, to me, is the future of mobile. And so, in summary, I've said this a lot throughout this webinar. Mobile is moving faster than ever, and nowhere is this more apparent than the travel industry. You simply cannot afford to become complacent, or you're going to fall behind the curve. But the new always connected traveller is demanding, and we've seen that a lot. Personalisation, slick UX, convenient mobile payments are all things they're going to expect next year and not just demand. But as discussed, there are new players entering the mobile travel market every day, and you need to be at all the touch points to maintain control of this traveller. But it's been a year of innovation. We've seen context, location, passport scanning, mobile payments, frictionless UX, and wearables all shape 2015. It's been an amazing year of mobile innovation. And as 2016 approaches, it offers up a new phase of this mobile revolution we talked about at the start. And we've just seen some of the trends that have made this a reality. So thank you very much for joining me today. And I'd now like to open the webinar for any questions.